It seems like every other year a new super team is being formed. From LeBron James and the Miami Heat to Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry's Golden State Warriors. These teams in the minds of many have ruined the NBA. As we find out why and take a closer look to the original super team. Super teams are ruining the NBA as in decades past players were more loyal to their teams, allowing rivalries to be more prevalent and as a result having more hype around the league. The 1980s and the 1990s are some of the most beloved decades in NBA history. And the reason behind that was the rivalries and the dynasties. From the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers in the 80s and the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, these teams brought the hype every night. The key pieces for the 90s Bulls were Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who were both drafted to the city of Chicago. Jordan was with the Bulls for 8 seasons before he finally won a title. In today's NBA, it's common to see guys give up before 8 seasons, joining a new team. The longest current tenure in the NBA right now is Stephen Curry, as he was drafted to the Warriors in 2009 and has never left. Unfortunately, he's cut from a different cloth, as the second longest tenure ended this offseason as Damian Lillard left Portland, where he had been for 11 seasons, to join Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. With the Miami Heat super team of the early 2010s, featuring LeBron James, Dwyane Wade and Bosh, it was only the second year where they were champions. Out of the 3 players, only Dwyane Wade was drafted by Miami. As a result, the Chicago Bulls championships of the 1990s are much more respected amongst NBA fans than the super team Heat or the Durant-led Golden State Warriors. But not all super teams go to plan, as you will see later on this video. If we go around the NBA today, there are a total of 5 teams that could be considered super teams. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Phoenix Suns, and the last one is a stretch, but Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in Dallas, in my mind, is also a super team. We've seen in years past that it's still possible to be good without trading everything away for a second or even third superstar. The reigning champion Denver Nuggets are one of the best teams in the NBA today, as they made smart decisions with their draft picks and added key pieces along the way to fit their team, such as Aaron Gordon and KCP. The Oklahoma City Thunder have repeated history, as they yet again have another great young team, as Shea, J-Dub and Chet are looking more like Durant, Westbrook and Harden every day now. The most respected teams in the league today have one thing in common: they're all homegrown talent. The Boston Celtics in the 1980s, who drafted Larry Bird and then added key pieces such as Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, were able to grow with Bird in Boston. This Celtics team went on to win 3 titles over the course of the 80s. Although Milwaukee traded for Damian Lillard, the core of its team with Giannis and Chris Middleton have been there for over a decade. This isn't something that we see too much anymore, but fans around the league appreciate it. The super team isn't actually a new thing, and it goes way back, so let's find out just how long ago it began. A popular take amongst NBA fans is that LeBron James ruined the league by signing with the Heat, but the truth is that that's simply not true. Now sure, LeBron James certainly pushed the super team movement further, however he wasn't the first. The NBA's first ever super team was in the 1970s, as Wilt Chamberlain joined forces with Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. Although Baylor retired before they would go on to win the 1972 championship, the 1972 Lakers went on a record-breaking winning streak, which you can hear more about in this video here. In the 1980s, the Philadelphia 76ers had a borderline super team, making for one of the most dominant playoff runs of all time. Philadelphia would go on to sweep the Knicks and Magic Johnson's Lakers en route to an NBA title. Moses Malone is one of the most underrated players in NBA history, as I could have made an entire video just talking about him, as in the championship postseason he put up 26 points per game, grabbing a historic 15.8 rebounds a game on an efficient 53% shooting. These super teams all worked out, but there's been many super teams that didn't go to plan. In the 1989-99 NBA season, the Houston Rockets attempted to build their very own super team, as Hakeem Olajuwon was joined by the former MVP Charles Barkley and the 6-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen. This team didn't work out due to the beef between Pippen and Barkley and the age of the roster, as all 3 were in the twilights of their careers. The team's leading scorer was Olajuwon, who put up 18.9 points, 9.6 rebounds, blocking 2.6 shots a game, while shooting an effective 51% from the field. The Houston Rockets were eliminated by the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. However, the most horrific case of a failed super team was the 2021 Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving and James Harden formed one of the most deadly lineups in NBA history. However, the trio couldn't stay healthy, only playing 13 games together over 2 seasons, only managing to win 1 playoff series against the Boston Celtics in the first round. In the second round versus the Bucks, a big toe was the difference between going to the Eastern Conference Finals or going home. In the playoffs, Harden and Kyrie went down with injuries, as Durant was forced to carry the team, and he nearly did. In the Bucks series, Durant was averaging an outstanding 35.4 points a game, along with 10.6 rebounds and 5.4 assists. His best game came in Game 5, where he scored 49 points on 70% shooting, leading Brooklyn to take a 3-2 lead in the series. As unfortunately for Brooklyn, they were on the wrong side of history, as Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks would go on to win their first championship in over 50 seasons. In the following season, James Harden wanted out to Philadelphia, as Brooklyn traded him for Ben Simmons, who never even played a game in that season, as the Nets were swept by Boston Pippen in the first round, which led to Durant and Irving being traded at the following trade deadline. Never in NBA history has there ever been a team so talented but with such little results, as the 2021 Brooklyn Nets are for sure the worst super team in league history. But let's find out which super team was the most successful, as the most successful super teams of all time include the 2008 Boston Celtics with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen winning a championship in their first season together. The Miami Heat with LeBron James, Dwyane Wade, and Chris Bosh winning 2 titles in 4 seasons, and the Golden State Warriors with Durant, Curry, Thompson, and Green, who would win back-to-back titles in dominant fashion, only losing 1 out of 9 games. Having 3 lethal shooters on the court at all times was impossible to stop. The team's leading scorer was actually Curry and Durant, both having an equal average of 26.4 points per game, while Klay Thompson also gave the team 20 points a night. Draymond Green was the best defensive player in the NBA, averaging 1.8 blocks, while also helping to facilitate the offense with 7.3 assists a night. The chemistry between Steph, Klay, and Draymond was already there, and Durant didn't really have any issues fitting in as he took shots within the offense, doing everything the team wasn't great at, connecting on mid-range shots and applying rim pressure on his drives. However, to those who don't like the super teams, I have good news for you, as I believe that the super team phase is slowly on the way out, as when you bring in 2 and even 3 superstar players, you don't have the salary cap required to build a bench, resulting in top-heavy teams and not as many championships as a franchise hoped for. So do you believe super teams are ruining the NBA? Let us know in the comments below.